Howdy. Welcome to me reviewing and ranking on a tier list STPs. Today I'll be ranking the Willie by Axolom, the uncut version. If you saw my other video, no you didn't. Little side note, I did decide to redo this video for the sheer fact that I really do enjoy the Axolom Willie, and I felt the audio and visual quality of my last video didn't do the Axolom justice. But if you did watch the previous video, it's still up there. It's just about to be the same information, so feel free to click off if you don't want to hear this all over again. I'll be ranking the Axolom Willie off of 5 criteria. The first one being looks and realism. Will I get weird looks at a urinal with this? The second one is going to be comfort and packability. Will it look or feel like I have a boner? The third one is going to be STP function and learning curve, because I feel if you're able to figure out something within a reasonable amount of time, you're more likely to keep it around, versus if it takes you too long to be able to use an STP, you're going to get frustrated and not want to use it. The next one is going to be price. Will I be broke if I buy this STP? Yes or no? And then the last one will be my overall ranking of it, and would I recommend this to people. This video does not cover the play function of STPs, because I personally feel like 3-in-1s aren't the best. I want to focus on just STPs and packers, because once you add in the play functionality, I feel like one of those 3 things suffers. Before we actually get started on looking at the STP, I would like to point out that any STPs I buy have been bought with my own money. Nobody sent me any of these for free, and no company is paying me to say anything about these products. But I will say, if something works for me, it may not necessarily work for you. This is just my 2 cents. Onto the actual STP. Be warned, what I'm about to show you is a prosthetic that looks like a penis. If that bothers you, feel free to click off, and thank you for watching for as long as you did. Have a good day. So, here is the Axolom Willie in Uncut. This color is C3. Here's a little roundabout of it. The size specs on this are going to be 4.7 inches on the shaft length, or 12 centimeters. The inch diameter is going to be 1.4, or 3.6 centimeters. The cup is going to be 2.36 by 4.4 inches, or 6 centimeters by 11.17 centimeters. The weight of this is 215 grams, or about 7.6 ounces. If you remember from my last video, if you did watch it, this is about the size of a hamster, so that's the weight of this product. The cost of the Willie is $84 USD and does not include the erection rod. The erection rod is an additional $24 USD, and these products come in 8 different shades. For the price of it by itself, and it being under $100, I'd have to put this in the worth it category. I know this isn't the most affordable option that's out there, but it's also not the most expensive, and for what you get with it, I think it's well worth the price. When the Willie came to me, it came in an unmarked brown box, and inside that box was their branded box, and inside that they came with a free little storage bag for your prosthetic, because you shouldn't be storing any of your prosthetics together because they can deteriorate or melt together. And something I always like to point out, they gave me a little free keychain. It's kind of hard to see. But I didn't have to pay any extra for either of these, it just came included. So my first impression of the Willie was really good, because when I was looking into getting a product from this company, they only had a 3-inch model and a 5-inch model in Uncut. But I reached out to the company and emailed them, and they said that they would be coming out with the uncut version of the Willie a week after I had emailed them. And they did, and here it is. Actually, looking at the prosthetic when I first got it, I was really happy with how it looks. If you get a close-up look, you can see a lot of the detailing of the veins, the skin texture. There's pinking here and on the balls, which is a very nice touch. The balls, there's no 3D balls, but they are rather squishy. And I did enjoy the fact that it has a slit shape instead of a giant hole like some STPs have, and that doesn't impede the flow at all. I don't like the fact that it has this half uncut, half cut look to it, but I do know that because this can be used with an erection rod, they're trying to simulate a semi-hard or hard penis. The color on this is C3, and I think it's actually a fairly good match to me. I would say though, I wish it was more yellow toned and a little less orange colored. I just have a lot of yellow undertone, and I'm on the tanner side, so not a lot of companies seem to have a perfect match for my skin, but that's totally fine and understandable. With the silicone itself, it does have a slight tacky feel to it. It definitely feels like silicone. I wouldn't say this feels like a penis. And one of the issues I have is this silicone has a slightly translucent quality to it when you see it in person. For both of those issues, just a bit of cornstarch on the product helps it. It makes it feel very soft, and it helps hide some of that translucency and makes it a bit more opaque. A nice fact about the Axolom Willie that I really enjoy that the company does is instead of painting on any colorant that they have, they instead color the silicone itself, so this pinking won't ever rub off, and it makes it super body safe, so this paint won't rub off if you're using it for penetrative sex. If you're on the fence about what skin tone you need from this company, they do sell these $10 sample packs so you can actually pick out what color that you need. Just keep in mind that there are 2 separate sample packs for STPs and packers, since they use a slightly different silicone and the texture will be different. For the looks and realism tier list, I would have to put this in It's Alright. I think it has really great detailing. I love the fact that they're coloring the silicone to make it body safe and it won't rub off, but I do wish it had a bit more coloring on it, and I wish that silicone wasn't as translucent as it was. So onto the actual STP function and learning curve. I would say this is one of the easiest STPs I've used for learning curve, where I could just seat this up against me, pee, and there's no restrictions on my pee flow. I would think because this is a very wide opening here, a lot of fluid is getting stored there and not backflowing onto, and that's why it's so easy to use. Also, because it has a more straight design, you're able to stand further back away from the toilet or urinal, and it won't risk coming back onto you. I was a bit worried with the lack of no spill lip, but I found that because the silicone's really soft and stretchy, it's still able to make a really good seal against you. And something to point out is this cup is actually thicker down here where it'd go between your legs than up here where it's a bit thinner and floppier. So this helps it prevents it from collapsing in on itself when you're actually using it. I do have to admit that I have peed myself with this once, but that was my own fault. I was pulling this over the waistband of my underwear, and the waistband pinched the shaft because I wasn't paying attention, and all of the pee backflowed onto me. So here I am doing a test to show the flow rates for this. This is about 250 mils, which is the lower end of you urinating. The higher end is going to be 400 milliliters, or about a cup and a half. And as you can see, the Willie is able to handle both amounts with ease. There's no backflow, nothing's getting clogged up. And I also tested the max capacity that the Willie can hold, and that's about 100 milliliters. For the actual tier list for STP function and learning curve, I would have to put this in light work, no reaction. I felt like it was very intuitive to use, and I don't have to stand in an awkward position to be able to use it and create a good distance between myself and the toilet. I also never had any issues with having to stop and start peeing over and over again. You could go full bladder, full force, at least in my opinion, and it won't get clogged up or anything. So if you're looking at the Axolom Willie and thinking it's going to pack uncomfortably or make an enormous bulge in your pants, I'd be really happy to tell you that it doesn't. It's actually super comfortable because it's very squishy and soft, and the balls themselves are very squishy. And the fact that this funnel or cup doesn't actually go that far between your legs is very comfortable for me as someone who's bigger legged. I would also say that it makes a decent bulge. It's not something super big, but it is a bit more noticeable in looser pants. For comfort and packability, I would have to put this in the comfy tier. I found that the silicone being as soft and squishy as it is made it rather comfortable to pack with, and it didn't feel like anything was stuck between my legs because it has a shorter cup on it. I would also say if you want to pack bigger or smaller, Axolom does sell products that are bigger and smaller in case that's what you want. So what are my thoughts on the Axolom Willie Uncut? I have to say, I really do enjoy this product. I'd say right now it's one of the STPs I use the most, and that I find it one of the easiest to use and most reliable. I definitely trust this to pee with because, again, the only time I've had an issue was my own fault, and it's not the product's fault itself. I'd also say because it's under $100, it's more budget friendly for someone, and I think because it has such a low learning curve that this would be great for beginners. For my overall ranking and would I recommend this product, I would 100% put this in would recommend. I recommend this for beginners for the ease of use and learning curve, and also for anybody who's looking for a semi-realistic STP that works well and maybe realism isn't on your top priority list. So that was my review of the Axolom Willie. I know that I just made a video about the Axolom Willie, but my amazing, lovely partner helped me figure out a different setup for recording, and I wanted to do the Axolom justice because I really do enjoy this product, and again, it's one of the ones I use the most right now. So if you found this video informative, entertaining, if you had any questions about the prosthetic, or have any recommendations for other STPs for me to review or tier list, please let me know. Also, shout out to anybody who's watched this far after watching my original video, because the original video was not it.